here we are back with movie number 12 for the month of October. And this is a movie that I am so happy I finally watched. And this might be one that's even too acclaimed, if you will, for me in the series of reviews and the stuff that I was trying. But you know what? Since I did just see it and I enjoyed it as much as I did, I have to review it. I always heard good things about this flick. Never got around to it. Truth be told, and I'm looking up to see if where it is on my pin board. I got a pin from this movie, from Horror Host, I believe, and it's like okay, I gotta finally see it. I picked up the pin; it was badass. I finally gotta see it. I can't see the pin right now on the board. I'll have to hunt it down a little bit later. But the movie we are reviewing is House of the Devil from 2009. This movie, yeah, it's because it's my new favorite movie of the 12 we've done. It is. It definitely edges out Spider-Hole. It does even edge out from a couple of days ago. Better Watch Out, but Better Watch Out was its own weird category. And Gravy, as much as I love it, a cannibal comedy can only be so high for so long. But House of the Devil is an homage to all the old school stuff. Like, its pacing is slow. And some people might hear that, like, well, the pacing is slow, you don't want to watch it. Bullshit. When I think of the amount of horror movies I watch on a regular basis, I probably average, maybe not as much as some others, but I clearly get through about 10 a week. Okay? And I haven't had a movie that had pacing like this released recently. I don't know in how long. I really would have to sit down and think about it. And, you know, the old school movies all have pacing like this. You know, or some of the older classics, you know, the throwbacks, and that's what this is. This is a pure throwback. Like, you know, like, think of the build it took in the movie like The Shining, which maybe was a little too long to build, some say. But it was just, it introduced you to the characters. The first kill that takes place completely shocks you with how quickly it takes place. That's as close as I'll come to spoiling this. I will give you the premise, though. A girl in college, her roommate's just one of those awful roommates, you know, walking out of the room all the time, going out with a boyfriend, keeps the place trashed. So this girl is desperate to find a new house. She finds an amazing house for herself, $300 a month, which I know was 2009, but $300 a month? And speaking of it, was 2009, she was locking out to a Walkman with a cassette in it, too. Again, I guess so was Star-Lord, so maybe there's that. But at least he was trapped in that space, so I had a reason. But she needed to get some money. She pulled one of those ad tabs for Babysitter Wanted. Went up to that eventually, played phone tag with the guy. The guy stood her up, but he talked her into it because he was going to double the fee. She went to the price, and the guy's like, hey, by the way, I kind of tricked you. There's not a baby. It's my mother you're watching. And then she wanted to leave, but he doubled it again. And she was walking around like $400 to just house sit, and there was an old woman perhaps upstairs that she may or may not have to deal with. So, her friend leaves the house, girls hang out in the house, different things take place. At one point, just a fun montage of her, like, jumping around the house, like, dancing with her Walkman on. Of course, there was a scene where Night of the Living Dead was on the TV, because Night of the Living Dead is always freaking on TVs and horror films. I almost wish there was somewhere I could look, and if there is, tell me, because I'd be curious. How many movies have played something from Night of the Living Dead in the background at some point in time or another? And speaking of which, that was actually something that, I just got in. Nice Blu-ray edition, Night of the Living Dead. This movie is such a good flick. Again, we're back to that whole Inception, movie within a movie thing. If you haven't seen it, well, you wouldn't be listening to this review if you haven't seen that. But, back to that. So, she's dancing around the house, knocks over a vase, some crazy stuff. Does stand outside a door that she doesn't go in. If she went in, she might have found there were some dead bodies in there, so maybe she should have. But, does order a pizza. Creepiest pizza delivery ever, and she doesn't eat most of it, which may or may not help her, too, for something else. But once this movie comes to a head, like, literally, it's like an hour and a half, give or take, and it builds and builds and builds. And once it hits the crescendo, it's good. If it was executed a little differently at the end, then listen, who am I to tell somebody what they should do with their work? But I am reviewing it, so I guess that's who I am. If it was done a little differently, if the ending wasn't exactly what it was, if something didn't happen that happened, if they skewed it just a little bit better, this movie would have been, like, for me, a top 10 for it. It's not top 10 for me, but it is, you know what, if I ever sat down and made my list of top 30, top 50, I think it's almost definitely would be in the top 30 because of the build. That build, which I miss. I miss the old school horror. I love the new school gore. I love some of that stuff you see in this movie. You do have some gore. You absolutely have a decent amount of it, but that build is lacking a lot. Like, and so that's one of the reasons I liked it as much as I did. It definitely lived up to the stuff I heard about it, and that's what it was. It's like people said, "Hey, you gotta check it out. It's a good film. It's a good film. It's a good film," and it's always something else coming out, so I didn't get around to it. And you know what? I wanted to give it a shot. You know, like, because I did watch some awful movies this weekend. I told you I don't review the bad ones on here. You know, but I'm trying to figure out, you know, look at some new stuff. I'm like, well, maybe people don't know about this one. You know, there's a reason for some of the stuff I've seen. So I had to use this to sort of wash down that taste. And I'm glad I did, because it was very, very good. Okay, so thanks for checking out my video, folks. Comment, like, all that good stuff down below. Did you see the movie? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you know any movies that have the same build that are made today? Because I would love to check them out. But thanks for watching my video, everybody.